10 hot dogs for $1.
Ahoy there, mates.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome aboard the VHS pirate ship. Well, Little Creep, it's Thanksgiving time once again.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't notice. Oh, gee. Oh, thanks for the update.
Putz, you'll have to forgive Little Creep here. He's not that big of a fan of Thanksgiving.
You're darn tootin' I'm not. Thanksgiving is horrible. All this family, and all the traveling, and the city. Oh, yeah, city and traffic. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's always a fun time. Yeah, happy holidays. Yeah, and I tell you, my family is just going to be badgering the whole time. And then what? Oh, I'm supposed to be thankful for burnt dinner rolls? I mean, I tell you, my family is just too hard to take anymore. They drive me up a wall, you know. They all just really get under my skin.
Little Creep, you don't have any skin.
Oh, yeah, right.
Well, Little Creep, I understand where you're coming from, but it is important to be grateful for what you have and to be thankful, to give thanks and think about all the things you don't have and all the people that don't have the things that you have.
Yeah, you're right. I know. But it's so hard to be thankful for them. I mean, they just badger me all the time. And I'm going to hear the same things this year I always hear. Oh, when are you getting married, Little Creep? When are you going to give me grandkids, Little Creep? You know, you wouldn't wet the bed so much if you met the right girl, Little Creep.
Well, that certainly is a bit much. But still, at least you have a family. There are some people that don't have families. Like Crawl from Son-in-Law. Or Del Griffith from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, yeah, I see. You're using Thanksgiving movie analogies to try to guilt me into being thankful. Yeah, well, that'll work.
Yeah, sure. Hey, I could have went with the Berenstain Bears meet Big Paw analogy.
Oh, the Berenstain Bears Thanksgiving special where they meet a Sasquatch who hates ungrateful people. Yeah, use the threat of violence to combat my emotional trauma. Yeah, good work.
Whatever works.
Well, I'm sorry, Captain Adam. It's just not going to work for me. I just don't like Thanksgiving.
Well, despite your feelings about Thanksgiving, Little Creep, and your personal experiences with the holiday, it's still a time to reflect. And since it is a time of reflection, I decided to look back on our very first Thanksgiving special here on the VHS pirate ship.
Oh, neato! I remember that one. Well, that was quite a few years ago, and we haven't really done one since, have we? Well, it should be nice to go back and look at it again. You know, it's always fun.
It should be fun. It's always a good time to look back. So, mateys, sit back and enjoy the show. Yo ho ho!
Time for the show! And you know, it's also time for sitting in traffic and awful holiday travel and family members who just...
Well, we'll just let Little Creep complain. Enjoy the show.
Yarr! Job on YouTube. I tell you, you call those crescent rolls? Oh, man, I tell you, lumpy gravy and everything. Oh, wow, great.
Thanksgiving, the day that we gather with friends and family and reflect and be thankful for what we have and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. Eat so much that you shit a drumstick. Oh man, you're going to be farting all that weekend. Oh, turkey's talking. And you know, Thanksgiving doesn't really seem to get a whole lot of love. Despite being one of the biggest holidays, the others being Halloween and Christmas, for which it's smack dab in between. You go into a store and they'll have tons of Halloween stuff, tons of Christmas stuff, and only a small little section of Thanksgiving stuff, usually consisting of turkeys wearing pilgrim hats and little napkins with leaves on them. So yeah, it would seem that Thanksgiving is pretty much ignored compared to Christmas and Halloween. I mean, there's not any Thanksgiving songs, are there? Well, there kinda are. There is the famous Over the River and Through the Woods to Grandmother's House, We Go, which started life as a poem published in 1844 by Lydia Maria Child, and its original title was The New England Boy's Song About Thanksgiving. And it's not grandmother's house, it's actually grandfather's house. But people screw the words up as they're prone to do, and no one really knows when this was turned into a song. But it was eventually changed into a Christmas song. Yeah, that's what Christmas needs, another song. But most of us still associate this with Thanksgiving. And that's good because it's a f***ing song about Thanksgiving. And then there's no place like home for the holidays. Hey, thank you. By Perry Como, which was released in 1954. And though it's rather ambiguous, as it doesn't mention Thanksgiving or Christmas, people generally associate this with Thanksgiving, but also with Christmas. And this is played on the radio around the times of both of these holidays. And also, too, Thanksgiving does not seem to get too many television specials. Unlike Christmas, where you could throw a sugar plum in any direction and hit a Christmas special. No, Thanksgiving has always seemed to be humble in this regard, or perhaps it's just been ignored. And though it wasn't ignored that much, there have, of course, been a variety of Thanksgiving television specials. The most famous example of this would have to be A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, which first aired on CBS November 20th, 1973. And this features the Peanuts gang trying to have a Thanksgiving dinner all their own. But they're only children and can't cook, so Charlie Brown makes his dog do the cooking. Yeah, it sounds ridiculous, but it works. Now, of course, the meal only consists of jelly beans and toast, but hey, if a dog can make toast, that's still pretty impressive. And this features To Grandmother's House We Go, further cementing this song as one of the only Thanksgiving songs. But I'm tired of talking about that f***ing song. So this was released on VHS numerous times. The first release, which seems to be very elusive nowadays and very hard to date. So I'm guessing this was released in the early 80s. And it was released again in 1994 by Paramount Home Video. And this one is very easy to find, though people do try to sell it for rather high prices. $25? Are you insane? And it was released again in 1997 in a kid's clamshell. Now, if you are a fan of the show, then you know I hate kids' clamshells. But really, I hate re-releases in kids' clamshells. I don't mind a kids' movie in a kid's clamshell because, hey, that's what the f*** it's made for. So this is okay. And very expected. And also, this is very easy to find. It's a very common thrift store commodity, so you'll probably find one there. A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving is probably the most well-known example of a Thanksgiving special. But are there any other Thanksgiving specials? Are there any Thanksgiving movies? The answer may shock you, or it may not. And today, we're going to explore the realm of Thanksgiving specials and Thanksgiving movies. In today's episode, the Captain Adams VHS Pirate Ship Thanksgiving Special. The enigma that is Thanksgiving television specials. Yeah, there's just not that many of them. Now, they do exist outside of the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special, but you gotta do some digging. I mean, it's really hard to even think of any, mainly because the ones that do exist just aren't that noteworthy and pretty forgettable. And quite frankly, I think that's because the subject matter isn't all that interesting compared to Halloween and Christmas. And that's fine. Thanksgiving is just a different sort of holiday. It just isn't as flashy as Halloween or Christmas. And therefore, there just isn't that much to work with. But that certainly did not stop them from trying. The only other really memorable Thanksgiving television special would would have to be Garfield's Thanksgiving, which first aired on CBS November 22nd, 1989. In this, Garfield goes to the vet and is told he is too fat and needs to go on a diet. But it's the day before Thanksgiving, and that's a terrible time to start a diet. I'm a turkey talker. Garfield doesn't take this so well and starts having withdrawal symptoms, likening Garfield to a heroin addict, which is pretty weird and not something you'd expect from a Garfield special. Lots of fun stuff happens. John tries to cook Thanksgiving dinner and f***s everything up, and then calls his grandmother to help. Wait, he didn't invite her to begin with? Wow. That's a dick move. It's a Thanksgiving special that doesn't get nearly the recognition it deserves. It was released on VHS in 1992 by CBS Home Video and is actually pretty dang hard to find. And if you do find it, as I briefly discussed in the last episode, it goes for some pretty mid-tier prices. It's an underrated Thanksgiving special and one of the only Thanksgiving specials, and a very rare VHS tape. Now, let's take a closer look at Garfield. It's time to overanalyze. Initiate the overanalyzer. Overanalyzer initiation in 3, 2, 1. Initiate. Overanalyze. Huh. That was pretty neat. What, did we get a bigger budget or something? Huh. Other than his love for lasagna, Garfield is also known for his tremendous disdain for Mondays, to which he woefully declares, "I hate Mondays." But why? People hate Mondays because the weekend is over and they have to go back to work. But why does Garfield hate Mondays? He's a cat. He doesn't have a job. However, John does. And Mondays mean that John goes away and Garfield misses him. Aww. So, Charlie Brown and Garfield are two of the most recognizable and famous examples of Thanksgiving television specials. But are there any others? Yeah, but not many. There's Bugs Bunny's Thanksgiving Diet, which first aired November 15th, 1979, and this is the follow-up to Bugs and Daffy's Carnival of the Animals, which aired in 1976, and that was the first time Bugs Bunny had appeared in anything since 1964. In Bugs Bunny's Thanksgiving Diet, Bugs Bunny plays a dietitian that helps out other Looney Tunes characters with their eating disorders, which is sort of a strange concept, but this is more like a flashback episode as they intermingle other Looney Tunes cartoons, which are edited and redubbed to fit this Thanksgiving special, and mainly it's just a stock footage showcase that doesn't really have anything to do with Thanksgiving. They mention Thanksgiving a couple of times, and Bugs Bunny wishes you a happy Thanksgiving at the end of it. But, yeah, this is a Thanksgiving special that really doesn't have anything to do with Thanksgiving. But hey, look, we don't really have that many Thanksgiving specials to choose from, so I'm going to take what I can get. This was released on VHS by Warner Brothers Home Video, and you will not believe what people are trying to sell this for nowadays. $60? What the f***? $100? Okay, pal. You are clearly insane. I don't know. I guess it's a rare VHS tape. I mean, that's surprising because this isn't actually all that good. So, I don't know where people are getting this from, but it is what it is. So, Bugs Bunny's Thanksgiving Diet is actually a tremendously bad example of a Thanksgiving special, but, yeah, it's kind of one of the only ones we got. So, what else is there? Let's see. Oh, there's B.C. The First Thanksgiving, which first aired on NBC November 19th, 1973, and is based on the comic strip by Johnny Hart. It's interesting to note that B.C. was a comic strip right alongside Peanuts and Garfield. All three comic strips got their own Thanksgiving specials, yet nobody seems to remember the B.C Thanksgiving special. And if they do remember this, nobody ever talks about it. This never comes up in the conversations about Thanksgiving specials. Not that people have a lot of conversations about Thanksgiving specials, but if you're trying to find a Thanksgiving special to watch, usually you choose Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving or Garfield's Thanksgiving.
Oh my God, a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving is my favorite Thanksgiving special.
Is it really your favorite Thanksgiving special? Or is it the only one you can think of?
F***ing fascist.
Yep, that's what I thought. Anyways, BC, the first Thanksgiving, was released on VHS by Embassy Home Video in 1984. And that's it. That was the only VHS distribution of this. And then it just sort of disappeared into obscurity. And this is kind of hard to find nowadays. And if you do find one, you're looking at some pretty mid-tier prices. And then there's The Mouse on the Mayflower, which first aired on NBC November 23rd, 1968, and was produced by Rankin & Bass. Yes, the Christmas special powerhouse that is Rankin & Bass made a Thanksgiving special, and seemingly not too many people know this, as this has fallen into the chasm of obscurity of Thanksgiving specials. And this wasn't released on VHS until 1989, and it was released again in 1993, and once again in 1998. So despite the fact that this is pretty obscure, it still had 3 different VHS distributions. And actually, even though everyone's forgotten about this Thanksgiving special, all these VHSs are really easy to find and pretty cheap. And then there's The Thanksgiving That Almost Wasn't, by Hanna-Barbera, that first aired in 1972. And this was a big hit when it first came out, but then suddenly everybody just forgot about it. Through the 1970s, Hanna-Barbera was a pretty big deal, so the fact that they made a Thanksgiving special that is now pretty obscure is a little weird. Nobody ever talks about this one. This was a huge Thanksgiving special, and it should be on everybody's list. And you know what else? This was never released on VHS. What the hell? Quivering cans of cranberry sauce. Why was this never released on VHS? I guess they just didn't feel like it. It's a shame. Yeah, the list of Thanksgiving specials is pretty short. And now the list of Thanksgiving specials on VHS is even shorter. So thank you, Hanna-Barbera. There is absolutely no reason why you couldn't put this on VHS. Now, if you have ever wondered what Thanksgiving would be like in the land of Oz, well, have I got some good news for you. With Thanksgiving in the Land of Oz, which premiered in 1980 and was a Thanksgiving staple that aired on television all throughout the early 80s. You would think that this would go down in history as one of the greatest Thanksgiving specials and everybody would remember it. Well, no, not exactly. In fact, there's a catch. When this was released on VHS, they changed the title from Thanksgiving in the Land of Oz to Dorothy in the Land of Oz, and furthermore, they removed all of the Thanksgiving content within, making this just a neutral animated movie. Why in the hell did they do that? Well, the reason is, and I quote, to make it a family movie to enjoy all year round. So this started off as a Thanksgiving special and one of the only Thanksgiving specials, and now it's not. Thanks. I don't know, that just seems like such a bizarre move and pretty unnecessary. But regardless of that, it was still released on VHS numerous times, and each one is sort of easy to find and kind of cheap. So there you go. It's another obscure Thanksgiving special made even more obscure by changing the title. I don't know, I just can't get over that. That just seems so weird to me. It's sort of like if you took 'Twas the Night Before Christmas and renamed it, Hey, It's Only Tuesday. So what if I told you that the Berenstain Bears had Thanksgiving dinner with a Sasquatch? Would you think that I was a lunatic? Well, you should, because that sounds batshit crazy. But it's true. And it happened in the Berenstain Bears' meet Big Paw, which premiered on NBC November 20th, 1980. And they never actually refer to Big Paw as a Sasquatch, but you just kind of assume that. Either way, he's a giant fucking monster, and this is a very non-conventional Thanksgiving special, and very unique. And also, they imply that Big Paw is actually a Thanksgiving holiday character. As the legend goes, if you're not thankful on Thanksgiving, Big Paw will come and destroy your town. I am being 100% honest about that. Yeah, that's what the story's about. Now, it turns out the guy's really a nice bloke, but this still is a very interesting and noteworthy Thanksgiving special. And of course, nobody ever talks about it. But I suppose that we're all used to that by now, so whatever. What's one more forgotten about Thanksgiving special? And another interesting thing about this Thanksgiving special is that it was released on Laserdisc before it was released on VHS. It was released on Laserdisc in 1984 by Embassy Home Video, and that was a double feature that included the Berenstain Bears Christmas special. It wouldn't be released on VHS until 1987 by Embassy Home Video, and then it was released again in 1989 by Kids Classics Home Video. And Kids Classics released it again in 1990 as part of a double feature that included the Christmas special. And it was released one more time in 1992, once again as a double feature that included the Christmas special, and this one is in a kid's clamshell. So even though this Thanksgiving special, like the rest of them, is pretty much forgotten about nowadays, the Berenstain Bears Meet Big Paw got a hell of a lot of home media releases. And if you're a Laserdisc collector, good luck finding this one. I wasn't able to find anyone selling this anywhere, but all of the VHS distributions are very easy to find and pretty much dirt cheap, so have at it. Well, I think we've established the fact that Thanksgiving specials do exist. They're just few and far between, and not a lot of people remember them. But what about movies? Are there Thanksgiving movies? Is that a thing? Well, yes, but there's even less of them.
Don't get a cranberry cramp. Captain Adam's Thanksgiving special revisited. We'll be right back after this.
Can you believe that I found this gravy boat at a flea market? It'll look perfect on our Thanksgiving table.
They bought an antique gravy boat.
Come on, son. Cheer up. It'll be fun. The whole family will be there. It's Thanksgiving.
Without asking any questions.
That's what worries me, Dad. It's that gravy boat.
Little did they know.
Since you brought that gravy boat round here, things just ain't been the same. It's you that brought evil here! You and that gravy boat!
It was more.
What's happening to my family?
Why don't you ask that gravy boat? Gravy boat! Gravy boat! Gravy boat!
Than they bargained for.
This Thanksgiving, be thankful, or else. Gravy boat, the Thanksgiving table will never be the same. Gravy boat, rated R.
Now playing at a flagship theater near you.
It's Fat Boy Surplus! Fat Boy Surplus! Husky Boys Irregular Clothing Outfitters! Fat Boy Surplus! Fat Boy Surplus! Specializing in closeouts, irregulars, factory buyouts, and unclaimed freight, which means bargains for you! Shop Fat Boy Surplus! Fat Boy Surplus! And get mega deals! Mega deals! And get all the things that nobody else wanted! We're the region's largest distributor of Fat Boy sizes! Fat Boy sizes! Like Huskies, Cadets, and So Fat! All irregular, all factory buyouts that your kid will absolutely not like wearing! They'll hate them! But you'll love them! So come on down and get mega deals! Mega deals! On irregular, itchy, scratchy, overly starched, and horribly made jeans, only $4.99.
Mega deal.
Get 3 sleeveless skateboard dude or radical alien t-shirts in an assortment of colors, only $3.99.
Mega deal.
And for a limited time only, get a 5-pack of fat socks, 2 for $5 or 5 for $2, your choice.
Mega deal.
So shop Fat Boy Surplus.
Fat Boy Surplus.
Husky Boys Irregular Clothing Outfitters. And shop our new locations in Hamilton and Sharon Petersburg. It's Fat Boy Surplus.
Fat Boy Surplus.
Husky Boys Irregular Clothing Outfitters.
All locations will be open at 5 a.m. Black Friday for even more mega deals. Mega deals. With special doorbuster savings this Black Friday at Fat Boy Surplus. Fat Boy Surplus. Like a 6-pack of broken 18-inch TVs, only $17.99. Mega deal. Or undisclosed brand late model computer modems that you couldn't possibly have any use for. Only $8.99. Mega deal. Or irregular and horribly uncomfortable sweatshirts, only $3.99. Mega deal. Come get doorbuster savings this Black Friday at all Fat Boy Surplus locations. Fat Boy Surplus. Fat Boy Surplus. Husky Boys Irregular Clothing Outfitters. Christmas time is the best time to let Bagoc's Chicken do the cooking. Greasy, salty, good. Let's face it, after making a big Thanksgiving meal, the last thing you want to do is make another big meal for Christmas. Well, Bagoc's Chicken's got you covered with the best chicken in the business. Greasy, salty, good. Things all right for the picking down here at Bagoc's Chicken. Let Bagoc's Chicken help with the holiday hustle and bustle and pick up the Holly Jolly Holiday Meal Deal. Greasy, salty, good. That's 50 pieces of the best chicken in the business. A 10-pound bag of homemade mashed potatoes. A 5-gallon drum of Watkins brand Oh My Gravy. Plus 50 made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuits and a 10-pound brick of slop slaw. All for only $49.95 after mail-in rebate. Things all right for the picking down here at Bagoc's Chicken. This holiday season, let Bagoc's Chicken do the cooking. All of our locations will be open Christmas Day because fuck our employees. Celebrate Christmas with the best chicken in the business. Greasy, salty, good. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from everyone at Bagoc's Chicken. Things all right for the picking down here at Bagoc's Chicken. It's the PWF Holiday Heat. Only on pay-per-view Sunday, December 20th. Call your local cable provider today. And don't miss any of the action as Big Dump Ferguson defends his World Championship title against Blanco Beef Clown. Mr. Fix-It takes on Danger Pickle in the grudge match of the century. Friar Truck squares off against Lord Armadillo. And the action continues as Baloney Malone takes on the Beekeeper. Little Lord Fartleroy goes toe-to-toe with the Masked Mushroom. And the tag team titles are up for grabs as the Hoagie Brothers square off against the Bad Mailman. Plus, don't miss the 20-man Baked Bean Battle Royale. It's the PWF Holiday Heat. Only on pay-per-view Sunday, December 20th. Don't be left out in the cold. Call your local cable provider today and get a front row seat to Jingle Bell Hell. Excuse me. It's time to talk turkey. We now return to Captain Adam's Thanksgiving Special Revisited. Who's going to carve the turkey? Oh, it's always me. Oh, yeah, I'll carve the turkey. Yeah, welcome back to the show. As you can hear, Little Creep is still complaining about Thanksgiving. Well, of course I'm still complaining. I'm in one of my moods, and Thanksgiving put me in that mood. Oh, I just cannot stand Thanksgiving. What a ruckus! Well, Little Creep, you might not want to complain so much. You don't want to attract Big Paw. Big Paw? Pshaw! I do not believe in Big Paw. Gee whiz! Suit yourself. Oh, get a grip, my dear sir, Big Paw. Anyways, mates, I hope you're enjoying the show. And in this next segment, I'm going to be discussing Thanksgiving movies. Well, really, just planes, trains, and automobiles. And son-in-law, I neglected to talk about Dutch because, well, I just forgot. Oh, whoops. Oh, Captain Adam, you're such a goose. You know, I think a lot of people do forget about Dutch as a Thanksgiving film. Really, as a film in general. It is sort of an enigma to find nowadays on VHS, and I don't believe it's streaming on any service. I could be wrong about that because I don't really give a shit about streaming. Anyways, Dutch, of course, is one of the only major motion pictures that featured Ed O'Neill as the starring cast member. Yeah, it is pretty surprising that Ed O'Neill never really had any other major starring roles, but oh well. And anyways, in this next segment, I do talk extensively about Son-in-Law, and of course, I talk extensively about Pauly Shore and his phenomenal career throughout the early 90s, especially as it pertained to his work with MTV. MTV. And I talk at length about the MTV special, the Totally Pauly's Totally Buff special. But when this upcoming segment was originally produced, there wasn't any information about the Totally Pauly Totally Buff special, as I describe in this upcoming segment. Oh yes, I remember that quite well. It was odd there really was no information out there on the interwebs about this particular MTV special. Yeah, it was kind of odd, but that's how it goes. Now, since then, this has been uploaded numerous times to YouTube. Of course, it gets taken down almost immediately because MTV just will not relinquish the rights. Either it's MTV or Paramount or Clear Channel or one of those lizard person-owned companies. They just won't give it up. But anyways, you'll notice in this upcoming segment that I talk about how there isn't any videos uploaded or really any information. And of course, since this was originally recorded several years ago, many things have changed. So in the interest of accuracy, I just wanted to point this out. And I still, to this day, several years later, do not understand what the problem is with uploading the Totally Pauly Totally Buff special, or really what the problem is with giving out any information. It doesn't make any sense. Oh yes, it's always bothered me how MTV has been so stingy with the Totally Pauly Totally Buff special. It makes me mad because you know they don't do anything with it. They probably forgot they even have the rights to it. Oh, it's just one more thing to complain about. Oh, yeah, and don't kid yourself. There's plenty of things to complain about, and I'm going to complain about every single one of them. Like sitting in traffic going to my family's house coming up. Go to Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, stop complaining. Oh, I can't wait for that.
Calm down.
Honda Civic with no heat in traffic for 3 hours. You're going to
summon
be great.
Big Paw.
That's fun. Oh, Captain Adam, I do not believe in Big Paw. What was that? You hear that? What is that? Oh, gracious. Oh, holy crap, it's Big Paw. He is real. Oh, who would have thought? Told you so. Oh, man, he's after me. Oh, he is real. Well, I suppose I shouldn't have complained after all. Well, I gotta get out of here.
Where you going, boy? Come here, boy.
Well, looks like we made a believer out of little creep. Painfully so. Anyways, mates, enjoy the rest of the show. Happy Thanksgiving. There is the greatest and one of the only Thanksgiving movies ever made with planes, trains, and automobiles, which was released in theaters November 25th, 1987. And what's interesting about that is that in 1987, Thanksgiving Day was on November 26th. So that meant if you went to go see this movie on its opening night, you were watching these events unfold in real time as they tried to get back home for Thanksgiving. Now, of course, the movie is an odyssey that spans several days before Thanksgiving, but you get the point. And it certainly made you glad that you were sitting in a theater and not in traffic or on a crowded airplane, because this movie famously captured the essence of pre-Thanksgiving travel, which of course is well known for being a tremendous headache, especially if you gotta fly anywhere. God help you. And you know, that's another strange thing about Thanksgiving, is that it's a very underplayed holiday, yet it's one of the busiest travel times of the year. And to bring it back to Perry Como, gosh, I never thought I would say that. This is mentioned in his song, Home for the Holidays. Yep, from Atlantic to Pacific, gee, the traffic is terrific. So there isn't a lot of Thanksgiving decorations, Thanksgiving specials, or even Thanksgiving movies, yet everybody tries to go home for Thanksgiving. So clearly, Thanksgiving means a lot to us. And planes, trains, and automobiles is proof positive of just how much trouble and money people will go through just to get home for Thanksgiving. And this really is a tremendous movie. Everything about it is well done, and everything about it is funny. Well, except for the soul-crushing ending. Yeah, it's a real sock in the gut once you find out what the real story is behind Del Griffith. Now, as you may know, everything turns out okay, but it's still a very heartfelt ending, and geez, you feel really bad for the guy. But it's just one of the things that makes this movie so great. And another thing that makes this movie so great is the chemistry between John Candy and Steve Martin. It really makes you wish that these two
did more movies together. And what else is interesting about this movie is the strange, unexpected Kevin Bacon cameo in the beginning. Now, I have a theory that is probably a complete waste of time, but nonetheless, I think this is Jake Briggs, Kevin Bacon's character from She's Having a Baby, which was released in theaters February 5th, 1988, only a few months after the release of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and both films were directed by John Hughes. So I dare to say that these two films exist within correlation of the same cinematic universe. Oh, wait. Oh, shit.
It's time.
No. Stop that. Stop that.
Initiate.
Shut
the
it down.
overanalyzer.
Shut it down.
Overanalyzer.
Come on, stop that.
Initiate in 3.
Stop that. 2. Stop that.
1.
Oh,
Initiate. Overanalyze.
For fuck's sakes. Anyways, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was released on VHS by Paramount Home Video in 1988 and again in 1990. And I have 3 of these in my collection. I'm not entirely sure why, but I'm glad to have them. And there are subtle differences between the 1988 distribution and the 1990 distribution. The spine of the 1990 distribution includes the bench that they are sitting on the cover, and the 1988 distribution does not. And the back of the 1990 distribution has more going on, where the 1988 distribution is more minimalist. And the labels on the cassettes themselves are quite different from the 1988 distribution and the 1990 distribution. And there's even subtle differences between the 1990 distributions. Yeah, the labels are different, and even the model of cassette they used is different. So it's just one of those things that makes VHS collecting fun and frustrating. Or should I say, fun-strating? I shouldn't say that. That sounds really weird.
Hashtag fun-strating.
Now, does anybody really give a shit about this? Probably not, but I still think it's pretty neat. And you can find either of these nowadays for pretty cheap prices. Yeah, this is a great movie, but it is not a rare VHS tape. So Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is the most famous and one of the only examples of a Thanksgiving movie, but how about another one with Son-in-Law, which was released in theaters July 2nd, 1993. And it doesn't seem like anyone really considers this a Thanksgiving movie, even though the plot revolves around Thanksgiving. Yeah, we got a farm girl from South Dakota who goes away to college in Los Angeles and wants to go home for Thanksgiving break. But she has since befriended Crawl, Pauly Shore's character, and discovers that he has no family to go home to for Thanksgiving. So she decides to take Crawl with her back home to the family farm to spend Thanksgiving together. And zaniness unfolds. A note of interest here is that Pauly Shore got his start as a stand-up comedian who eventually became an on-air personality for MTV. You know, back when they actually played music videos and didn't encourage teenage girls to get pregnant. But I digress. Pauly Shore had his own segment that aired in the afternoons on MTV from 1990 all the way up to 1997. And this was simply called Totally Pauly. And this character, of which he would refer to himself as the So was immensely popular in the early 90s and was a product of the style of that time period, which was still trying to find its way out of the late 80s. It sure was an awkward time, and the Pauly Shore character epitomized the characteristic struggle between the style convergence of the late 80s and the early 90s. And the peak of the popularity of this character is arguably between 90 and 92. And this is exemplified with the Totally Pauly Totally Buff special, which aired on MTV in 1991. Now, normally I would show you pictures of the Totally Pauly Totally Buff special title card or pictures from the show itself, but yeah, there isn't any. So I'm going to replace that with pictures of the GoBots. I know damn well that the Totally Pauly Totally Buff special was real, and there was a video of this up on YouTube about a year ago, but it's gone. And there are older blogs that talk about this TV special, but the video they included is now gone as well. So what in the world is happening here? It's like it's been erased. Erased from existence. And if you Google the Totally Pauly, Totally Buff special, you'll get a picture of Pauly Shore and a picture of the pro wrestler Buff Bagwell. So there's that. Yeah, so I was going to talk at length about this television special and how it was really funny and all this and that and the third, but whatever, it. It really pisses me off that the Totally Pauly, Totally Buff special doesn't seem like it even existed, but it did. And take my word for it, it was really funny. The reason that this seems like it never existed and you can't find it anywhere is more than likely due to some sort of licensing conflict, and MTV still owns the rights to this property, which is bullshit because you know that MTV couldn't care less about this. And the worst part is that the Totally Pauly, Totally Buff special was never released on VHS, even though it really should have been, because this is on the very short list of decent things MTV produced, and Son-in-Law is on the even shorter list of Thanksgiving movies. And Pauly Shore's The Weasel character is certainly a product of the early 90s, and Pauly Shore would use this bit in all of his films through the 1990s, even though the characters he portrayed would just go by different names. And this might be controversial to say, but I think that the Weasel character is like an LA 1990s version of Ernest P. Worrell. I know. We're supposed to be talking about Thanksgiving movies, and Son-in-Law is a great Thanksgiving movie. I know it gets a lot of shit nowadays, but it's an okay movie. Give me a break. Yeah, I don't watch Pauly Shore movies. Oh, please. I'm sure you went to go see Encino Man when it first came out, didn't you? Oh my God, he's right. I did. Anyways, Son-in-Law was released on VHS by Hollywood Pictures Home Video in 1993 and again in 1998. And as you can imagine, these are not hard to find, and they are very cheap. Now, even though they are few and far between, Thanksgiving specials and Thanksgiving movies are the go-to things to watch around Thanksgiving. But how about something that you might not expect? And I'm talking about pro wrestling. Thanksgiving has historically been a tremendous night to have a big wrestling event. The best example of this would have to be Survivor Series by the WWF. Yeah, I know they now go by the WWE. And the Survivor Series certainly became the name of the game when it came to Thanksgiving night wrestling events. I mean, hell, they used the tagline, "A Thanksgiving night tradition." So of course I'm going to talk about this. The very first Survivor Series was November 26th, 1987. And once again, we're talking about 1987. That's weird. The Survivor Series is an event that the WWE still has to this day. And there were VHS of these, well, up until 2006. My favorite year of professional wrestling is 1989. So naturally, my favorite Survivor Series is Survivor Series 89. And so, of course, this is the hardest one to find on VHS. Yep, you can find all of the other Survivor Series on VHS, no problem. Except for the one that I f***ing want. Alas, maybe one day I'll find it. And there was also another Thanksgiving wrestling event known as Starrcade. And no, I'm not talking about the Starrcade game show. I'm talking about Starrcade. See, this one has 2 R's in it. And this was from Jim Crockett Promotions, which would later become known as World Championship Wrestling. From 1983 to 1987, Starrcade reigns supreme as the Thanksgiving night wrestling event. But the WWF also wanted a piece of the Thanksgiving night pay-per-view action, and they pressed cable companies into having the Thanksgiving night pay-per-view time slot exclusively for the WWF, thereby forcing Jim Crockett Promotions to move Starrcade
into late December. And so after 87, Starcade was no longer a Thanksgiving spectacular. And you can find the pre-87 Starcades on VHS, but it's a little tricky, and the prices? $90, $150. Holy shit. And though the Survivor Series VHS are a little easier to find, people still sell them for pretty high prices. But it is possible to find them for cheaper. I found my copy of the 1987 Survivor Series for $20. Nice. I mean, it's not Survivor Series 89, but it's still pretty cool to have. And mark my words, one day I will find that VHS. Well, it seems like we've reached the end of our little Thanksgiving adventure today, and I think we've proven that there are Thanksgiving specials and Thanksgiving movies. They just seem to be overlooked, because Thanksgiving doesn't have the pageantry that Christmas does, and it doesn't really have to have that, because Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving, and it's probably a mistake to compare it to Halloween or Christmas. It's a time to be thankful. And you know what? I'm thankful for you, mateys. And I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. And for God's sakes, don't talk about politics. Not to be grim here, but you really don't know how many moments you have left with somebody. And wouldn't you hate it if the last conversation you had with someone was an argument over people who do not give a shit about you? There are plenty of other things to talk about. Talk about VHS tapes. Talk about Beta. Talk about movies. Talk about this show. Talk about pirates. Talk about what Pauly Shore is up to nowadays. Talk about why Hanna-Barbera never released the Thanksgiving That Almost Wasn't on VHS. Talk about your favorite Survivor Series, or which Starcade you think is the best. Talk about the GoBots. Talk about Garfield. Talk about how the Berenstain Bears had Thanksgiving dinner with a Sasquatch and nobody seems to give a shit. There is literally an infinity of things to talk about other than politics. We do have a lot to be thankful for, and I'm thankful for you watching today's episode. And I hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving. Be sure to hit subscribe and share this video. Get the word out, and I'll see you next time, only on Captain Adam's VHS Pirate Ship. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody!